Check this clip out right here. On the left hand side, you see Bitcoin having the $0.6 trillion market capitalization, and then you see the overall global monetary supply at $900 trillion on the right hand side. Who do you think is going to win? Bitcoin is that Trojan horse and will catch you by surprise. As you see here, Bitcoin just staying steady, then all of a sudden just ramps up and kicks it into overdrive, and look what happens. Bitcoin ends up coming victorious.
And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video, getting straight into it. Taking a look at an update from Tech Dev. Liquidity cycle MACD crosses and trendline breaks at tight Bitcoin compressions on the monthly. So if we look at this, this is the CNY over the DXY, and we're comparing this to see what happens on the Bitcoin US dollar chart. Both these are on the monthly, so pay attention and let's see what we see. So as the CNY comes down and this green dot gets called, what starts to happen? Bitcoin then starts its parabolic move, and on the MACD, we see we have a flip from red to green on the monthly. So definitely bullish for this comparative and bullish for Bitcoin. So rinse, repeat, green dot, MACD breaks downwards resistance, flips to resistance to support, blast off, green to red, Bitcoin's parabolic move. And then same thing, rinse, repeat. This is in the 2021 cycle. We have this bottoming out structure here, the green dot, parabolic rump to 65,000. CNY 10-year over the DXY comparative. And you see here, we break this downwards resistance. So bullish, breaking resistance, flips from green to red. And look what happened here. So this went to 65,000. How high could we be going in the months to come? We could be seeing a potential new all-time high before the year is out. And you see we broke out of this downwards resistance. We flipped this monthly from red to green. And look what happened. We haven't had that bullish run up yet. This hasn't peaked out yet. So if we zoom into this price action to see what we see that we can see the $69,000 peak around right here. And if Bitcoin runs up to this level here in the given time frame, potentially before the year is out, by the end of 2023, early 2024, we could be seeing a $90,000 to $100,000 price target. So what does this mean? Are we going to see close to 100,000 before the halving? Are we going to put a new all-time high in before the halving? Could this time be different? Another update from Tech Dev, 28 bars of Bitcoin. So as you see here, this is the 2014 peak, and you see 28 bars, 851 days. We have the lull out, and then we come back up to we hit that parabolic run up. And look at rinse, repeat. We have this peak, 28 bars, and look at we have this parabolic run up. We see this on the TSI. We see that this is also flashing green, and all the RSI indicators match up as well from previous cycles. So this was around early 2016. So it took about 2 years for this to play out. So if this takes 2 years to play out, we'll be looking at a high at sometime around this time frame of 2025. So how high can we go? Time will definitely tell. Tony the Bull, the 1 monthly Weimar kinetic energy has given a buy signal, and every time this happens before, what do we see? Here's the kinetic signal here. Every time we have this cross, it's bullish for Bitcoin, blast off, cross, bullish for Bitcoin, blast off, cross, bullish for Bitcoin. Are we going to see a major run up towards the previous all-time high, and how long will it take for that to play out? Another update of crypto gel NL. Bitcoin has printed a 3-day golden cross. And as you see here, every time we see this 3-day golden cross, we have a blast up. Every single time, 3-day golden cross, blast up. We had this pandemic black swan event, but still ended up being a blast off. And right now, look what happened. We're looking for this Bitcoin bounce to occur. And how long is it going to take till we get to this previous all-time high? But one thing to pay attention to, the big gap down in the Bitcoin dominance. What does this mean? Does this mean we're going to see an alt rally? We see we're just stair-stepping our way up. We'll look at this on the charts as well. And we bottomed out here. We're just stair-stepping our way up. And look at this white line, this white support line. We broke through this. So is Bitcoin going to have some downwards continuation? Note that the 200 moving average, the Bitcoin is still above. Is this going to act as the Bitcoin dominance bullish trend, the 200 moving? Or could we come down and retest this before we have a continuation? Or looking at the RSI, are we going to see lower dominance price action and come to have this RSI reset and cool off while the alts start to rally? We'll keep you updated as things progress with the Bitcoin dominance. From Crypto T, this is not a meme coin, it's Argentine's peso. And as you see here, the peso fell off a cliff. And this is the Argentine peso versus the US dollar. It fell off a cliff. They're experiencing extreme hyperinflation. The central bank announced today that they'll be devaluing their currency another 18%. And now has an interest rate of $118 per year. So you really can't do anything. You really can't do anything in Argentina. They can't hustle. They can't invest. Their money is worthless. This is where Bitcoin comes into play, and Bitcoin has more value than their own currency. And then also you see here, a pro-Bitcoin presidential candidate won the primaries. Where? In Argentina, where they just decided to devalue their currency another 18%. Bitcoin has definitely changed in the world. You're seeing Bitcoin in presidential debates. It's actually a voting topic. If a president is pro-Bitcoin, depending on your region, it might be a no-brainer for citizens that live there. And another update, this is the biggest news we're waiting on. We're waiting on these SEC decisions, and they're delaying the decision on the ARK Invest. The spot ETF last Friday was their first deadline. They have a second deadline and a third deadline. So do we expect that all these will be approved at one time? Do we expect that they're going to just block all of these? You see there's one from ARK, iShares, Bitwise, VanEck, Invesco, and more. Here's the final deadlines by March of 2024, coincidentally right before the halving. So is this going to be a sell the news event and Bitcoin might dump before ultimately blasting off post-halving? Time will definitely tell. And then taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart. At the current time it's recorded, we're coming in right above 29.4K, and we're just continuing to stair step our way up. Zooming into the Bitcoin price action, what do we see? What do we anticipate? We're looking still bullish here on the charts. We have came out the depths, we bottomed out here, blasted up, and currently we're bouncing off the 200. Could we come down, see lower price action, back down to the mid-20s, 25 to 27,000? Potentially. If we zoom in a little bit closer on the price action, why do we say this? Because as you see, Bitcoin hit its head on 200, came back down, put in a higher low, came up and blasted above it, and then bounced off it once, had a fake out, and then started to have a continuation to the upside. And right now we're just lolling out. And we actually see the MACD below. It sort of is not making a decision on which way it wants to go. It either wants to go red, green, red, but as soon as this makes a decision and we have a continuation to the upside, we're going to have that technical target around that $50,000 threshold. Or are we going to see a new all-time high like Tech Dev was talking about here before the halving cycle? Right now, there's a lot of bullish momentum that potentially could be had. And taking a look at Bitcoin, could Bitcoin lull out and come back down to this upwards support? That's a possibility. That'll take us back down to 27,000. If it came down today, this would be bearish because that'll take us down to 23.7, but ultimately we'll be breaking this previous low. So the trend could potentially change, or we could just retest this previous low again and make a double bottom out before we have a continuation to the upside. So this is what we see. Bitcoin is still just stair-stepping its way. Remember, the trend is your friend until the end. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today. And I'm out.